Hello friends, welcome to Systematic Physics. Here we will be guiding you for content of physics for boards, NEET and JEE. Standard 11 Units and Measurement, video number 3. Accuracy, Precision and Uncertainty in Measurement. Physics is a science based on observations and experiments. Observation of various physical quantities are made during an experiment. For example, during the atmospheric study, we measure the atmospheric pressure, wind velocity, humidity, etc. All the measurements may be accurate, meaning that the measured values are the same as the true values. Accuracy is how close the measurement is to the actual value of that quantity. These measurements may be precise, meaning that multiple measurements give nearly identical values, that is, reproducible results. In actual, measurements and observation may be both accurate and precise or neither accurate nor precise. The goal of the observer should be to get accurate as well as precise measurements. Possible uncertainties in the observation may arise due to the following reasons. Number 1. Quality of instrument used. Number 2. Skill of the person doing the experiment. Number 3. The method used for the measurement. Number 4. External or internal factors affecting the result of the experiment. Errors in the measurement. Faulty measurements of physical quantity can lead to errors. The errors are broadly divided into following two categories. Number 1. Systematic errors. Systematic errors are errors that are not determined by chance but are introduced by an inaccuracy involving either the observation or measurement process inherent to the system. Sources of systematic error may be due to imperfect calibration of the instrument and sometimes imperfect method of observation. Each of these errors tend to be in one direction, either positive or negative. Sources of systematic errors are as follows. Number 1. Instrumental error. This type of error arises due to defective calibration of an instrument. For example, an incorrect zeroing of an instrument will lead to such kind of errors. Zero of a thermometer not graduated at proper place, the pointer of weighing balance in the laboratory already indicating some value instead of showing 0 when no load is kept on it. An ammeter showing a current of 0.5 ampere even when not connected in the circuit. This means that whenever we talk about instrumental error, these instrumental errors are because of the faulty calibration or the faulty arrangement of the measuring equipments. Errors due to imperfection in experimental technique. This is an error due to defective setting of an instrument. For example, the measured volume of a liquid in a graduated tube will be inaccurate if the tube is not held vertical. Personal error. Such errors are introduced due to the fault of the observer, bias to the observer, carelessness in taking the observations, etc. could result in such errors. For example, while measuring the length of an object with a ruler, it is necessary to look at the ruler from directly above. If the observer looks at it from an angle, the measurement length will be wrong due to parallax. Systematic errors can be minimized by using correct instruments, following proper experimental procedure and removing personal errors. B. Random errors. These are the errors which are introduced even after following all the procedures to minimize the systematic errors. These type of errors may be positive or negative. These errors cannot be eliminated completely, but we can minimize them by repeated observations and then taking their mean, that is average. Random errors occur due to variation in condition in which the experiment is performed. For example, the temperature may change during the course of an experiment, pressure of any gas used in an experiment may change, or the voltage of the power supply may change randomly. We don't have any control over all these processes, but ultimately what results we get would be wrong. Now, how do you estimate the errors? This is something very important. Suppose the readings recorded repeatedly for a physical quantity during the measurement are A1, A2, A3 till An. Arithmetic mean can be taken as sum of all the observations upon number of observation. That is, A mean is equal to 1 by n summation I going from 1 to n ai. This is the most probable value of the quantity. The magnitude of the difference between mean value and individual values are called absolute error in the observation. If I want to find out the absolute error in the measurement of A1, then delta A1 would be written as mod of A mean minus A1. Here one point to be noted that we always consider magnitude of the absolute error present. Delta A2 would be equal to mod of A mean minus A2. Similarly, delta An is equal to magnitude of A mean minus An. The arithmetic mean of all the absolute errors is called mean absolute error in the measurement of the physical quantity. Delta A mean is equal to take average of all the absolute errors present, that is delta A1 plus delta A2 till what? Delta An upon n. So that is equal to 1 by n summation I going from 1 to n delta Ai. The measured value of the physical quantity can be represented by A is equal to A mean plus minus delta A mean, which tells us that the actual value of A could be between A mean minus delta A mean and A mean plus delta A mean. The ratio of mean absolute error to its arithmetic mean is called as relative error. So relative error is equal to delta A mean upon A mean. If you multiply it by 100, you get a percentage error. Now see the example which is given. The radius of the sphere measured repeatedly yields values 5.63, 5.54, 5.44, 5.40 and 5.35 meters. Determine the most probable value of radius and mean absolute relative and percentage errors. Very simple. First of all, you will take arithmetic mean of all the values, that is addition of all upon number of observations. Now you have to find out mean absolute error, that is mean value minus mean of the values. That value is calculated, and the relative error finally is equal to mean absolute error upon the mean of the given observations, and multiply that by 100 to get a value in percentage.
We have tried giving you the subject knowledge in very systematic manner. Please like and share the video with your friends and subscribe to stay connected with systematic physics.
Thank you.